Yo, what is up guys, it's Aqsept here. Before we get into this video, I just want to say this is a bit of a longer coaching session. We did 2 live view games and then reviews after. If you're only interested in watching the reviews, then I've left timestamps down below so that you can quickly scroll through them and just watch the actual coaching. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video and thanks for watching. Alright, do you have anything you want to ask beforehand or do you just want to get straight into it?
Not really. I think ideally it's just I think it's just going to be mainly things that I should be looking for. I'm looking at what changes I can do both on an individual level in terms of laning phase, but also in terms of like the macro gameplay around, ideally around the early game.
Do you want me to like coach you on a solo queue standpoint or like from a solo queue standpoint or like more of like, okay, what would you do in competitive?
Both, because I feel it's the individual aspect is mostly related to solo queue, but it is also related to the competitive aspect.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas for timings and how it goes around, playing around objectives and playing around comps, that's more on the competitive side.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit of both in that sense.
Sure. All right, sounds good. What have you been playing recently? Like what champions, etc.?
Mostly engage support stuff like Alistar, Nautilus, Rakan, Rel, Maokai support, a couple other things.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I think like my take right now is that CC supports are extremely OP because there's like not an asset in the game almost, like at least from runes.
Yeah.
And almost every ADC, like not anymore, like particularly, but like at least before it was like basically every ADC that was like strong had some sort of follow-up CC like Jinx or Aphelios, like or Caitlyn or whatever, right? So it's like if enemy didn't run cleanse and enemy like couldn't have tenacity in runes, they just go CC for like a year, you know. And
yeah, it also feels. It also feels like it's a good thing because of the tankiness with Warmogs being meta right now in the sport.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I know a lot of people in EU still like playing a lot of enchanters. If you look at like Korea, like people mainly only play like engage champions, I saw.
Do people just skimp out on it in Korean altogether?
What did
or
you
are
say?
They compensating with it? Are they skimping out on melee sports on enchanters altogether, or do they try to compensate with it?
Like mainly from what I saw, like at least in solo queue, right? Like they mainly like look to play like engage reports. Like if you look at like I mean on EU, like there's a lot more like enchanters in general. Like I would say, it's not like as much as it was before. Maybe now that I look at it, but it's like still like very high like pick rate here on like. Oh no, actually it is like, let me turn on my screenshot for you as well. Like if you look here, right, it's like Nautilus has the highest pick rate, and then for some reason you have like Nami, Emilio, Lulu, Janna, all of these champions, right? And these champions are champions I would not really consider meta, I'm not sure if you agree. And it's like, if you look like Korean ladder, like, okay, they have like, in terms of pick rate, it's Nautilus, Leona, Rel, like you see what I mean, it's like way more engaged champions, like... There's 2 enchanters in like the top 10. One is Karma and one is Lulu. And if you look on EU, it's like a lot more enchanters, right? That's like a big difference I see.
Sorry, I didn't hear a thing. Sorry, because Discord bugged out and I didn't hear a word.
Yeah, no, what I said is right, is that like if you look EU play rates, like there's a lot of like enchanters, like Nami, Milio, Janna, Lulu, Karma, you see, etc. Like on Korea, it's mainly like engaged champions, you can see. Like they have Karma here on like 5th place and then like Lulu on 8th place, right? And otherwise it's only engaged champions.
It's basically swapped, yeah. The top 8 is like apart from one, it's just all engaged supports.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are times where you can play enchanters for sure, right? Like if you have like, especially like if you have like a Draven, for example, or like Kai'Sa, something like this, it makes sense, I think, to play. Or not Kai'Sa, like if you have like Draven or like any champion that really wants to win lane, it can make sense, right? Because then you can go like Renata, Kalista is the other one. Because then you're not as reliant on playing like in engage, you'd rather play engage jungle, right?
Yeah, what's your perspective on Renata? Because I've seen it to some degree in competitive, but I'm not sure if it's an actual viable pick. Because I think it's a bit.
I think
rough.
It's like similar thing. You play it if you have like a Draven or a Kalista because it's like a really lane dominant pick, I would say. But otherwise, I would probably not play it. It's my take at least. I prefer otherwise. Like I think Galio is a bit underrated at the moment. Like he works very well into like the meta support, I would say.
Okay.
And I would say Braum is like a bit underrated as well, like in a similar sense. But the only thing is that they don't work that well always into like the meta ADCs, right? So like Estral is like starting to climb in the meta, etc. Alright, what do you think about picking here?
I might, yeah, because I might talk a bit loud during the game, or not loud, but you know what I mean. Because I want to consider just, I want to get like my thoughts through as well. But basically, I think Rel is not ideal. I think Rakan Rel is ideal. Rakan Alistar, because I need the roam, and also it's a good counter to Samira. So I think this is just an ideal pick here.
Yeah, I like Alistar into Samira in general. Yo, what up, Crooks? How are you, man? What up, Forsland as well? Thank you, Lundkrans, for the follow. Yeah, I won't backseat you like too much in the game. Like, this is generally how I do live coaching, because like I kind of want to see how you think about the game, and not like because you know how to play the game, right? You're not like stupid, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so if I'm like sitting here and I'm like saying, oh no, you should do this and that, like it will only impact like your decision making in a sense, right?
Yeah, no, I agree, because I think that. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a bit on that, but I might ask you during the. Okay, this is really good as well.
Oh yeah, you can ask me anything, like any questions you have in game or anything like that, and sometimes I'll like commentate on stuff, like if I think it's like something I noticed, right, then you can fix it instantly. But otherwise, I'll mainly like just look to see what you're doing.
Yeah, because then I can tell you as well what part of the game I think are difficult and what part of the game I think is fine. So to say. I think it's just an ideal state.
Sounds good. Alright, what is the general plan like coming into this game? What are you thinking?
General plan, I mean, honestly, it's going to be a lane bully game through bot lane. Pyke is if Pyke isn't able to get a hook in, it's going to be a free bot lane with Ashe just getting the poke in. As for mid and top, I mean, mid is going to be a snowball lane. Top is going to want to play safe because it's a Gnar into sack. So it's Gnar going to get the auto push into him, but at the same time, he's also in a position to escape ganks. So ideal focus is mid or bot lane, I'd say.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, go.
I think maybe I'll see how, depending on how the wave state ends up, but I think I might look into a level 3 gank if the ADC wants to base, just to see if I can get a snowball in through if I can get a snowball in through mid lane is going to be an easy win just because of the melee nature of 3 of their comp players, or sorry, 2. Okay, I just want to go in and see where he starts. So I'll place a ward here.
Bro, I thought my computer was having a stroke for a second, you know? So to support the season, so it would be interesting to see this. Yeah, I've done some other support coachings as well. Like, I did 2 Grandmaster support coachings on both of those guys. They're up on YouTube now, if you're interested. If not, we can just watch this as well. I'm not in love with this invade, but I mean, Solicus is kind of hard to impact it in a sense.
Because of the Pyke pick.
I think you're just not that strong level 1. It's like my take with any of your champions, except for Ashe. Ashe is really strong, right? But like they have Nunu and they have Pyke, right? And like the common like Nunu cheese as well is like you start W and you just roll like with Home Gorge. And then you start like Raptors instead.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like, I think there's a lot of ways this could go bad in a sense.
That's fair.
Alright, what are we looking to do?
Actually want to stay in lane.
Yeah, what are we looking to do?
Get Prio in lane. Get Prio in lane, use it to... Get Prio... Oh, God. Okay. Get Prio in lane, use it to punish Samira. Pyke. Problem is now that we've seen Nuno is that I can't really pressure if he decides to do 2 camps and 2 gank. Okay, he's just gonna roam here, and I can't really stop him. Okay, he's gonna die here. Never mind. Actually, maybe. Okay, it's not worth it. I'll just stay back here. Maybe I can actually just do this, because... Okay, we'll just find now.
I mean, this is fine, I think.
It's a bit of a rough. It's a bit of a rough early game, but I mean, he did get the kill. We burned flash from Pyke.
Yeah, you ignited as well, so
this is fine. Okay, we do see Nuno though. So if he wants to, I mean, I don't want to reveal too much. Okay, now I should be roaming. Problem is I can't really...
What?
This is such a Fiesta game. This isn't ideal.
No, it's fine.
It's fine for us. It's just it's not like the best game to.
Oh no, I get what you mean, but there's still gonna be things to look at. Don't worry.
Side evade is fine. I'll just take 2 extra tower shots, which isn't ideal either. I grief that. This
noon is just a press or what?
I should have gone up and queued. I think you take the extra step. Okay. He wants to stay bot, so I have to stay here. Listen now. Okay, nice. Should be. Nah. Nice. Got him. Okay. Base for tempo. 120 until Drake. Look for a gank mid. And more. He should be topside here. So maybe if he stays. Black should have a roaming opportunity here, so he could go top, could also go mid. Rek'Sai is invading. I'll follow here. Okay, I mean...
Mr. Nekton is just twisting.
Yeah, it's just straight up I'm just gonna freeze the wave here.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Nice, good stuff. Sweep here. We didn't freeze the wave, fuck. Okay, start pathing bot.
Like, you don't need to freeze, right? Because Renekton will just push it and then he can just bounce and freeze again. So it's not like super needed.
He does get him. Okay. Nice. Push in, look for roams. See if we want to... Oh, I can't maybe not save him. Okay,
no,
save them.
I think if you're really scared there,
like, around here.
If you're really scared, you just Q flash and then W him away, I think. Like something like that.
Okay, Pike is here now. Oh, I can't fuck. Let me just do this, but there's no shot I can save him here, unfortunately. Question is, do I need to flash? Ah, it's all good. Wave is a bit rough, so I need to head back bot immediately because it's going to be frozen for him. Then it will either go... mid or to Drake. Seems like it's Drake. I'll go boots after this. Tabis should be ideal. 280 threats. I mean...
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Team is in a very rough state. Oh, but where's Nunu? Okay, I mean, I'll just head out here. Okay, if he wants to go here, I'm fine with this. I don't know. The hook wasn't ideal. Can't really stop them. The one thing I could have maybe done is... Actually, I'll just do this. I don't want to commit to another one. I don't know. I think that was a rough one. It's not ideal for me to stay here. Maybe if...
That's fine.
Should have timed that.
Alright, what is the plan now?
They should be basing. Look to go mid. Transition that into... I mean, they haven't actually gone for the Drake. The issue is I don't have my ward item yet, so I really want to try to get my ward item so I can ward off the map. Since I know that they're just going to base and roam somewhere, really should just be looking to counter the roam if so. Mid if he wants to stay, otherwise just set up a pink ward here and wait. Okay, I'll start heading back bot now. So, on him. Jeez, I should have locked bot immediately. I really want to try to pick up some levels. And is no one wants to go for
I'll close my window really quick.
thing. Okay, don't see him. Reset. I really don't want to go for this. Get flash, that's fine. Okay, I just need to run here. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cancelled. Now we win this. It's fine, I'll just help him push.
What's happening? Bro, this is a bit of a fiesta. We have a few things to look for, though, so it's not too bad. I'll probably ask...
Okay, nice. I want a base.
I'll probably ask Calm to do another one after this, though, because this one is going to be quite fast, for sure.
There's going to be a later recall. So we're losing tempo off of this, but we gain a Drake. Grumlings in 40 seconds, so I can use this to base, go mid, go into Grumlings, unless Pike shows spot.
Yeah, sounds good. And gliding through the entire enemy team. Yeah, I mean, this guy's completely depressed after what happened earlier, right? The Renekton, like, killed him twice, Iron killed him once, like, I don't know, it's just
Pike show
fucking
bot,
sad.
so I
Like,
need to head
I don't
straight
know.
bot. Okay, free desktop side. Yeah, that's good. We can go for them. Ah, I fucked that. I fucked that so hard. Actually, I shouldn't have won that.
That's fine.
So, okay, got a couple solo plays. I want to go and get deep vision, see where he is. Nunu's dead. Should be coming bot out of base. Place one deep here. I'm worried Ash is gonna get. Maybe I should just. Nah, I think it's. I shouldn't have cancelled.
Yeah, but this is the issue sometimes with doing live games, right? That sometimes you get fiestas like this, and then it's like, you know, that's why I always recommend like VODs in a sense, but we can still look at stuff, right? It's just not going to be as much as if it's like a close game or like something like that, you know? But the good thing is that if we do have games like this, we can just do another one as well. There's no like rush, you know, in a sense. We can do another one, we can review this one while sitting in queue, and then we can go next.
Ah, this is a horrible play by me. Get 3 kills, but it's not ideal. Okay. Oh, that's worse. Got it, Samira got it. 20 Herald. What tower? Only tower left to go for. Okay, got a kill here. Side's clear. Nothing to say but one rental trick. WQ isn't working out. Not enough. Okay. Two bot. Look mid. Okay. Nice. Okay, this surrendered. Never mind.
Alright, last one. We can go another if you want. So I think the number one thing, like usually you, with the information you have, I feel like you usually make like decent decisions, like on where you should be on the map and what you should be doing. But I don't think you're taking in like a lot of the information on what's going on, if that makes sense. Like if I look here, like level 1, okay, like we don't really always understand like what's going on over here, etc. Our camera movement is a bit sloppy, if you know what I mean. Like one thing is like using F keys, right? Which I don't see you doing.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna force you. Yeah, go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say because I stick the most to like checking, like constantly looking at the minimap to get like an understanding of the game. I have never like really used the F keys, but I can start doing that in the future probably.
Yeah, and I mean my recommendation for it is like, I mean you can click on the map as well. It's not as efficient, right? But at least like what we're doing right now seems very awkward because we're like kind of trying to drag it to like not even drag, but like just move the camera like all the way.
Yeah.
Which is a bit slow. I recommend if you want to try using F keys, is like don't have them on the F keys actually. Like just rebind them to something that's easier to press, because I think it can be quite uncomfortable to move your entire hand up.
Yep.
I don't really care what button this is. I have it on like the mouse buttons, for example. But you can have it like, I don't know, your bottom row or your keyboard or whatever. Right, but I think like this is something I noticed, right? Because like I think most of the things we do in the game could be a lot more efficient if we can like first of all like move our camera faster, and then I think the main thing that you struggle with from what I see is like mechanics, like otherwise.
Yeah.
And these are just things you need to practice, right? And just put a like plan to practice in a sense, right? For example, like I mean here's another thing where it's like okay with the camera, right? Because like I think the, like Renekton kills the Nunu here. And And it's not that hard to look over and check, okay, what's going on here with the Renekton, right? Is this something I want to move for? Is this just something I want to stay in lane for? I'm not saying you have to move, right? But it's just, I want us to make an active decision, right? Instead of autopiloting it. Because here we kind of start moving outwards and we're still not looking at what's going on. You see what I mean? Maybe we're just moving for ward or whatever, right? But it's like, why are we moving for a ward if Nunu's getting fucked in ass? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like right here when wave crashes, I want us once again to ask, okay, what are we doing now? Do we want to like maybe look what's going on in the invade? You know, do we want to help with the invade if something's happening? Because the biggest strength for free wave crashing like this, and then like your jungler being able to go in here, is that your AD can be completely fine by himself right here. He can't really be all in, then you can just move. You see what I mean? And it's like, if you're scared of him dying in solo queue, that's fair enough, right? Like, I'm not gonna force you to do something, right? But especially in comp, right? This is something you can do, right? Anytime you can get freeway crash, then you can always like look to do something on the map, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I said, the mechanics are sometimes a bit awkward, right? Because it's like, one thing, you're not always decisive on what you wanna do, like in a play, I think.
Yeah. I think it's partly to do. I think it's partly because I will say I'm a bit slow in my mechanics today because I'm a bit hungover.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, if you think you're better normally, then that's fine, right? Like, you know yourself better than I do.
No, because I agree with you, because I think, generally speaking, mechanics are some of the hardest aspects for myself, because I agree, I don't think my mechanics are at the level I want them to be.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with that.
No, there are a few things you can do to improve. One thing is, like I said, the number one thing is you have to practice everything, right? That's just a simple case. If you want to get better at something, you have to practice it. And with mechanics, that's the number one thing, right? Because you don't just magically get better by like putting your feet down or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's no like secret trick to it. So it's like, but there are things you can make it like to make it easier. One thing is, like, for example, you seem a bit slow in like your decision making, which makes your mechanics seem a bit slow at times. And I think you're just not always aware of what your limits are and what your teammates' limits are.
Yeah,
is something I see. For example, like later with like the Gnar, like over here or whatever, it could be anywhere, right? But it's like, this was one thing I noticed when you like made this like bot lane play or whatever. Here, you're like, I'm not sure about this play, these kind of things, right? And like sometime like I don't know, you over here, wherever it was, like in bot lane when Nunu was ganking and Ivan was ganking at the same time.
Yeah.
Whatever that was, it just seems like we're not like confident on like plays, you know. And we don't seem to know what makes champions strong and what should be played around in these kind of like things, right, etc. Like, because if you just look at it, like what they really want to do, the enemy team, right, is they want to play skirmish. And what makes your champions strong into their champions, do you think?
Team fight, probably, in that case. Avoid skirmishes, go for team fights.
Well, that's one thing, but another thing is that your champion is like the master of saying fuck you. You know, like it's like Alistar and Maokai. Like, these two are like the master shot this, right? If Pyke goes in for some reason, let's say he goes in, you can literally just tell the Samira to not be a champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your champion is just an enabler, right? Like, this, like, because if you play your job correctly, this Ashe can freely hit at all times. If this Pyke tries to go in together with the Samira, you can mark one of them and Ashe will win the other one. Make sense?
Yeah, because one of the things I think is, because I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I think one of the issues I have is I mainly look for, like, how to put it, I ask others what they think, and based off that information, I make a decision. So when I'm in a state where I don't know, like, the limits of what the enemy champions want to do versus what I want to do, I end up doing that, like should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? And thus becomes like slower.
Yes, so I want you to be decisive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think this is something I see in comp as well at times, right? You're not decisive on what you want to do, right? So you're like a bit hesitant, and then you're like, oh, should I Alistar combo? And then like you do like the first part of the Alistar combo, and you don't do the second part. You know what I mean? Like, since we're the same issue. Right, I see that you're playing now.
No, I'm like what do you call it? Multitasking at the same time. So I'm just
no, that's fine. You can focus on this game now, and then we'll
nice.
Keep going with review.
Okay, nice. We're not gonna level 2, so just go back here. Okay. Ooh. Should have done one thing. I wanted to have faster camera. Should have changed that before I got in.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
So, okay. He's just going to go up here and ward, so I'll get a sweeper in 5 seconds, and he shouldn't have any information. Okay, now I'll do this. Oh, he didn't go up. Just a bait. If I burn a flash here, that's really good. Okay, nice. I want to push in this wave and help him. Okay, now I can go. We can probably not go for the dive. Just want to get in. Okay, he wants to go for the dive. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We chunk the whole wave. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Don't care if I die here.
Yeah, it's a good stuff.
It's fine.
I'll swap back servers to you where I hope this go will not lag, but your stream is like a bit lower quality. That's the only thing.
Oh, yeah. I'll see if I can, maybe I can boot it up to 720.
We'll see. I'll change it back first at least. Hello? Okay. Wait.
Wait, I'll do the thing. 1 sec. See here. There we go. Maybe it'll work now. Okay, I just want to stone this and then base.
Yeah, worst case I'll deal with a bit lower video quality. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Now I can roam into this. Jinx hasn't base, so this is just an opportunity for me to get some pressure top and then go into. Cannot get him, so I'll just run mid here. I have 9 seconds until my ability. I think it's just risky staying at this point. I think I should head back bot now.
Yep.
Yeah. I reckon maybe I could get him, but no shot. Okay, so they're just gonna go for me here. I guess not. Bad play. Okay, warded. Yeah. I have nothing here I can do. 2 seconds. Yeah. I mean, Jinx should be low. C6. Okay, I'll just. I think it's a. I shouldn't have gone for that. I listened to the pings too much. Enough. It's gone in.
I don't know why you get thrown out of screen share sometimes like that, but it's fine.
It's terrible. The wave. Should have man advantage coming 4 people. So. Okay, they're giving it up. So we can invade him here. Helios is fine bot lane. SSH. Doesn't have ult. We're not going to get anything from this though. It's just in a bad roaming timing. Because now they're going to get 2 plates. Means it was a bad roam. I mean, this is actually fine. Not anymore. I'm just going to die here because of the... I'm not going to waste flash here. That's fair. Corners on this. I just want to stay bot. Soak XP. Helios is still ahead 10 CS. We can still snobble him further, should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's ahead 2 levels as well, so he's strong.
Yeah. I think just staying bot lane here might be the ideal play. Assume they're going to be on Herald. Not Herald, Drake. Just chunk him out here, but I don't want to commit too hard of a fight. Okay, this is really fine. This is really fine. Oh, no, oh. That's actually not fine at all. Oh, that's... Can't let go in. It's mega rough. People stopping, please. What? I'm just going to reset here, but I can't really go anywhere for tempo. I just want to go in here and take out what I can in terms of vision. So you want to swap top here. We dive here on the wave. I just too slow for it. For smart air, we can maybe play for a dive. Honestly, I'm just griefing it at this point. I don't have the levels for level 6, which means I'm just useless at this point because I can't dive because I'll take too much damage. Maybe if he steps up here, I can get him below. Okay. I'll be level 6 now. Braum behind us. It's actually dreadful. game at this point is very
it's not
rough.
an easy game. Not an easy game.
Yeah, but I also think I fucked it up a couple times.
That's fine.
This game shouldn't. So.
I mean, fucking up is how we learn, right? So can't be scared of it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, it's kind of. Can I go anywhere? I mean, if we want to contest this, but the problem is there's really like nothing to play for right now, at least. So it's just kind of denying them the gremlings in that case. Just get some poke on him. Oh, no. I just can't. I can't do the F thing right now.
That's fine.
Can you practice it at a different time?
yeah, that's fine. Anytime you practice anything in the game, I don't care what it is. If you're new to the game and you practice looking at the map, it's gonna be difficult to do while doing other things, right? So just pick the time where you want to do it. And sometimes you might lose a bit of LP because like you practice something at the time and you're gonna play worse in other ways, and that's fine. LP is not what's important.
Oh, actually, did I fucking block that? No. I have 1 second on my thing. Okay, nice, you got him. Maybe. No, not enough.
It's a good try.
Now if we can get this though, it's gonna be huge. I have no idea where the position of Skarner is. I haven't seen him yet. Might have missed it on the minimap. Okay, know where he is. Scuttlecrab. Or Wrinkled Herald. Gonna get ulted by him, so it should be fine. It's a bit. That's fine. Bit off tempo, but gonna be seeding Drake now. Can we play for anything? Not really. Maybe I can. Nah, there's no shot I'm gonna be able to kill him. I'm just going to stay here. Okay, nice. Oh. Okay, nice. That's a really good throw. That's a good throw from them. Should do Drake here to deny them. Just started right away. I don't want them to come with TF ultimate.
Alright, what is the plan now?
Current state of the game, honestly, is mainly just defending Aphelios and Katarina are currently the strongest players. Basically just play around them. Try to deny them towers. Make sure we just get tempo off of plays they make or mistakes they make. Because we can't really, I don't really think we're in the spot to like create the plays. We're kind of just in the position where we need to have them mess up. Okay, this is a problem though. Karin is currently overextended. Okay. 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 Do I want to hide them anywhere? It's just mid tower, that's all we can play for right now. Problem is I can't really go in anywhere because if I go in alone, I'm gonna die, which means I need these 3 members of the team. Okay, we have vision on 2 of them now. It's huge. And good here, which means okay. Trying to deny. Okay, no old Skarner, no old Skarner. Disengage here. Okay. Re-engage here is quite rough. Got a butter, that's huge. Okay, nice get Mintar now. Don't know if my ward is only like covering half of them. They're too deep. I went from a really good fight to just fighting in their jungle and we lost the position. Sure. Probably gonna get Baron here, so just honestly, maybe no, I can't really get it because Jinx might go mid. I think just wait. It was a really good fight at least, but now we're back to being a bit rough again.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Just try to play our best, and then if it's enough, it's enough. If not, then it's fine. You know what I mean? Some games just aren't winnable.
I'm sure we can play for this. They can place a ward preemptively here, so we have a flank ward in case they try to go for mid.
Yep, it's good.
Question is just, will they push for bot or will they push for... They really should play for bot because Drake is up, so they should play bot and mid. Okay, he swept it. Okay, he's setting up vision top side. Let's chill here. I'm gonna have to waste my ult here. I should have predicted Skarner would have been in there. Careful about, I think just give this. Five seconds. Oh. No. Nah, mistimed it.
It's fine, good try. I think we lose here though, probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's Katarina clutch or kick.
Damn. I'm If they're actually 10 seconds, they might just go for...
Yeah,
it might actually go for the end.
Does seem like they all want to.
They?
I will see what happens. Maybe they throw here. Who knows?
Sure.
I'm sick of this yapping. Bro, what is this flame, man? We're going to review soon. It's fine. What up, Hybrid Show? Are we doing Among Us tonight or no? I put it on like 22 because you told me you have scrims, but that we might play. But I will be down. No scrims today.
I guess the reset.
Alright, I have like session at the 20,
yeah,
but like I'm down to play after like the session. You know, if we get people, just let me know.
Let's get this. Yeah. Fine. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. It's fine. It's alright.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright.
Depending on the solo queue. But I think this one is probably a good game to look at all the things.
I think both games can be good to look at, so we'll look through both of them if that's alright.
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright, so the first complaint I had was like my general mechanics, so especially like camera movement, and then also like I think it notices, or I noticed it in the second game as well. It's just the hesitation, right? Like,
yeah.
I think often it's just better to make like a bad play instantly, like without hesitation, than to like, what's it called? Like make a good play, but you like half-ass it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically just commit to a play rather than do half-ass it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if like you commit to like a semi-bad play and enemy is like not doing anything, you will probably just roll through them anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, one thing I noticed throughout these two games as well is that it does not always seem like you understand in what order to use your abilities. Because, for example, like on Alistar right now, what I see you do pretty much every single fight is you W into Q. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never see you have like any creativity with it, right? There was like one fight. There was one fight in mid lane the second game where you're like, okay, you W the Riven and you try to save your Q for it. That made more sense to me. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the time you don't think about, okay, how do I want to use my abilities? As soon as the fight starts, you kind of use Alistar ult. I think sometimes you could be a bit more patient with it, for example. Right? These kind of things. I think about what your role is in the fight, right? That's like another thing, right? Because it's like, I think a lot of it is like, you understand where to be on the map often, I think, but it's like, there's some timers, like for example right here, where you're like, okay, let's freeze mid lane. I'm not saying it's wrong to freeze mid lane here. I like that you're doing that, right? But I would like you to look at bot lane and see what's going on in case this guy's getting dove right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Another thing is that we kind of stick around, right? Like if we want to like do this fast, okay, we get like this Yasuo or whatever. This is like, alright, you know what I mean? And now instantly, once again, we just need to look at like what's going on bot lane, you know what I mean? And it's like, because if we're clearing this ward, then we need to be there right now. We can't be clearing this ward, you see what I mean? And this Ashe kind of ends up like outplaying it to an extent, right? But it's like, we only see what's going on now. We could have seen this 20 seconds ago, 30 seconds ago, right?
Yeah.
I don't hate that we're opening mid. It's good that we open mid. It's good that you're trying to like be useful on the map, right? But often we don't also always have like a plan around it. We're just like, okay, I don't need to be bot lane right now. Let's go mid lane, you know?
Yep.
Or let's go top lane or whatever. And it's not inherently bad, right? But have a reason for it at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes the best thing as support is just to stand there and soak XP. This is the truth, right? That's like another play in itself, right? I don't care what you do, right? It's just that you have some thought process, what you want to do, etc., and you have a plan going on, right?
Yeah.
Here's like another, or like one of those times where I'm like, okay, I'm not sure like we're using abilities in like the right order here, right? Because like for example, like I don't think we need to space towards this pike, right? First of all. Because we kind of understand, okay, he's going to be going for us, the Nunu is going to be going for us. If we space towards the Ashe, we could just like insta Q the pike once he goes on Ashe, right? Because you agree, this guy has to E towards the Ashe before he hooks here, right?
Correct.
So if we just stand on top of the Ashe, what play does he have?
pray that I don't stand too close so he can hook, but otherwise nothing.
Right,
really.
but as long as he's in the minions, he can't hook, right? And if he tries to go past the minions, we're all like, yeah, we combo that guy and we kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then he's going too far. Right, so it's like, because let's say we're standing right here right now. This guy's fucking dead.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to save like our W or something like that to like, you know, counter the Nunu, something like this, right? But our one job is like to peel this guy, right? If they are not touching this guy, even if he's like this HP, he's not dying, right? We can easily make sure they don't touch him here, because they are 2 melee champions and you have 2 abilities to counter them. See what I mean? And it's just like, one of them misses, that's a bit unfortunate, right? But even if we hit the Q initially, this Pyke will still, theoretically, could be able to use E afterwards, for example, right? Or maybe if he has flash, that's another thing, right? Maybe then we can't react to it, you know? So it's just a bit awkward. And like, that's often like your job as Alistar. Sometimes it's just your job to stand on top of your ADC, especially like versus these kind of combos, right? You see right here, like here I'm
this one is just rough. Oh, this one is rough.
Of course it's like for sure rough, right? But it's like, if I'm playing Alistar here, like what I would probably do is like just W the Pyke here, you see what I mean? Like, first of all, so your Ashe doesn't get stunned, right? And if the Samira then jumps in, then you Q the Samira.
Yeah.
Right, there are things we can do to peel, and his Ashe might be dead anyways, that's the honest truth, right? He might be dead anyways, but it feels like we're not making an effort, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Nice report, Ashe, for anything. True. Yeah.
No, but it's basically just, like, it's basically just rough combinations of plays. Like, basically that one I should have been Wing Pyke to avoid the E stun for her, maybe it would have hit, but it, like, the play is still the same, you should W the Pyke, and then from there, it should be...
Right, you have a lot of abilities to counter them, right? If you want to be going in, right? This is the number one question I want you to ask, right? Especially when you're playing this champion, right? First, are you going in on them, or are they going in on you, right? If you're going in on them, it can be completely fine to use WQ every time. That's like the main combo in Alistar, right? Like, everyone knows it, right? W into Q into E into them, maybe also at some point, right? Like, so, but it's like sometimes maybe you'll have flash, right? And maybe the best play is to like flash Q and then like W, right? And sometimes I notice you don't make use of the walls. Something I see like good Alistar players do, and it's something I noticed in the second game, is like you can use W someone against the wall, they will be CC, they will not move, and then you can wait out that CC and then Q. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is something you can do.
Yeah, because that's what I did during the second game with the Braum dive, where I W'd him, then Q'd, and then E'd, but basically, the good death under tower.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like fine, right? That's good. You know? And sometimes I see you do this, but often it's just like, I don't know, it's like a bit awkward, right? And if enemy, for example, is going in on us, then you don't want to be using like WQ, because then you're comboing your like CC chain, right? And it's like the only reason why you want to use these two at the same time, right, is so that you can make sure that you're going in on someone while locking them down, right? It's the entire day of the combo. If they're going in on you, you could just use one and then the other, right? You don't need to use them both. You're still doing your job.
Yeah. It's basically a combination of let's say they want to dive with Samira Pyke, I can W away the Pyke, and then I can Q the Samira in case she tries to go in, or vice versa.
Or like I said, I mean, the question I want you to ask, right, and I think I asked this, or like at the start of the first game, right? Okay, you want to win lane, right? This is like what you said, right? You want to win lane. That's good, of course. Everyone wants to win lane. If you win lane, you have a lot more agency in the game, right? But then the question really becomes, how do we win lane, right? Every lane has win conditions. Even if you have a losing lane, if you have a winning lane, you have win conditions, right? What are your win conditions in this lane?
Keep Pyke off of Ashe. That way, Ashe can deal damage onto the Samira and slow, and that way we can chase them down.
Well, that's one thing, right? Yeah, go.
Because it should be in that sense that because of Ashe's extra range, that as long as she maintains the range, there shouldn't be any issue with Samira getting onto her. The only reason she gets onto her is if Pyke hooks or Pyke engages with flashy or E.
Right. The number one thing I want you to ask yourself in every lane is that, which lane is stronger if we're not in an active trade? So what I mean by this is that an active trade is like, for example, you and Pyke are like using abilities on each other, right? And you're like actually like semi all in, and you see what I mean? Like you're actually trading abilities, these kind of things. Like, who is stronger when no trade is going on? In this lane, we can both agree it's probably your side, right? Because Ashe just outranges them too hard, and Ashe will slowly win the lane if nothing happens. Agreed. If you play Rakan, this is another thing, right? You can often slowly poke them out with Q, maybe space some autos in there, you know what I mean? Alistar is not as good as as Rakan on this, right? But this is the idea, right? They have 2 all-in champions, right? If nothing happens, if no all-in happens, they will lose. Agreed?
Agree.
Right. So your only job is to stop the all-in until you feel like, okay, now we win the all-in just too hard, right? We've done our job successfully, right? So we just need to neutralize them, right? And if our job is to neutralize them, then, for example, just make sure that we mark this Pike or mark this Samira, I don't care which one, because I think Ash can 1v1 either one of them afterwards. Maybe not the Pike, you can decide that, right? Or we mark both of them or whatever, right? Maybe we stand on top of the Ash, maybe we stand different from her, right? But just think about, okay, what is our win condition, right? Do I want to be the one all-inning, or do they want all-in me, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's completely fair.
Yeah, and then I think like we do some decent things in the game, right? As I said, like I mean, the play that we just looked at, we were kind of hesitant to like go in, and I don't like hate it. Like in this game, it makes more sense to me to be hesitant than the other game, right? This game is won, agreed? Like, you need to do something completely stupid in order to lose this game. Like, or not you individually, but like your team needs to, like someone on your team, right?
Yeah. The second game is the game I think is more like, because I think when you remember what I told you, like oh, there's too many pings.
Mm-hmm.
That was the play I think where I hesitated too much because Aphelios wanted to dive. I thought it was bad, and then the ping came through, and then I kind of feel like I need to mute pings because the issue I have is I know what I want to do, but the pressure of the pressure of playing a different play style also comes with. I think it's a bad play, but I'll do it because I want to follow up on like a team play.
Right. So I'm not saying you should mute pings, right? Like, I get where you're coming from, right? Because sometimes I'm like the same thing. Your jungler like spam pings you to like you go somewhere, and then you go there, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Here's what I meant with streaming a bit laggy. It's fine after, but we can still look at some general things, right? But it's like, do you know who this is or no? I'll just ask first of all.
The ADC? No, I have no idea who that is.
Okay, because I have zero clue either. Like, for all I care, this guy could just be someone from the bus station. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I have zero clue who the fuck this guy is. You know what I mean? I have zero idea on why we should trust this guy's, like, pings. You know what I mean? I get that if he pings us, we are gonna consider it, right? But for all I care, what I want us to do is to just like be aware of, okay, are we gonna like make a play or not? You know, these kind of things. For example, when we went for like that 1W on the tower or whatever, even if he pings it, I just want you to ignore it. It's good that you consider it, right? But if you've already considered it and you're already locked on a play, just because he pings something after that, then you just say fuck you, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can trust yourself, agreed, to do what is needed to be done, right? Can you trust this guy that he knows?
No.
If you've never spoken to him, no. Right? If this is comp play, 100%, you know, listen to your teammate. If you're the shot caller, you like it's like a bit awkward, right? But it's like, in general, you try to trust to each other, right? These kind of things.
Yeah.
So it's important, right? Like that we just don't like over trust this guy or whatever. I'll ignore the first few levels because I think they're a bit dead in this lane anyways. And as I said, the stream was lagging. I don't hate this play. Like this is one time where it like shows that okay, us having the pings on is like actually good, right? Like this is not a bad play, agreed? It's like, I think this is always free. Worst case, like, I think what happens is that we dive this Jinx, you trade your life for Jinx, and, well, she misses the wave. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Hey guys, it's Aqsept. If you're enjoying the coaching session that you're watching right now, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I upload coaching sessions daily right now. I also upload shorts daily. And if you're interested in seeing the sessions a bit more live and asking questions while we're going on, then just remember, I always do these sessions live on my Twitch channel, so you can go follow that, link in the description. Anyways, thank you, and enjoy the video. And here we decide to open top lane. I can't remember exactly why we decide to open top lane, right? Because the stream is doing what it is. So why did we decide this here?
The play was wait. Could you go back like 10 seconds, just because I want to see the map?
Well, it's a bit hard.
No. Because I remember I saw the jungler path topside, and I realized that it's a back. Braum shouldn't be able to because Jinx has to back. Jinx has no items at this point. Oh, sorry, she has to back because she doesn't she hasn't backed yet. So because of that, she's not going to be able to crash the wave bot. But I also saw Karthus passing into topside, which meant Riven had what I think 400 or 500 HP, something like that.
Yeah, I don't hate this play, right?
So if I zone her off and then transition that into the jungle invade with Karthus, it should be really good.
Right.
But I think basically here now the play is over. So now we got the top wave and we got jungle camps on the Karthus.
Right.
And now we should be heading back bot, and then this play happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this is once again just be decisive on what you want to do. Are we forcing a fight here? For all I care, we can just insta-combo the Braum here, right? Like, and if we're gonna be doing something, if not, you just back off here, right? You're not chasing this TF, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Even if you reach the TF here, this guy's 20 miles away, this guy just uses combo, right? You reach this guy, nothing happens. Right?
Yep.
I mean, what happens is probably the Braum Qs you and you die, right? Like, if anything. So it's like, you know, that's like a trick with like tanks. You don't want to be like generally chasing into the enemy. If you chase into the enemy, this guy can hit, these guys cannot hit, right? You see what I mean? And it's easier for this guy to peel this guy if you're walking into him than the other way around, right?
Agree.
So in general, you want to be baiting people to kite back, right? So for example, okay, this Braum now is like 20 miles away from the TF. Go on the Braum, right? You can get 3 damage. You might not kill him. You might kill him. I don't know, right?
No.
But it's like, in general, the TF does nothing here if you go on the Braum. And now we go on the Braum a bit late, right? And it's a similar thing, right? We have nothing to do on him. We get a Carthus Q.
Yeah. I also think it's similar. I think the ideal play was just to back off there, but I agree it should have really just been like go on the Braum in case we want to go on anything. If we don't, it's fine. But if we go, it's on Braum.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is also similar where he pings this is the same thing with this play because he pings that he wants to like go on them, and I just don't think I can. But he keeps doing it, so I keep like feeling the pressure that I need to do it.
I mean, one thing with trading in front of enemy tower, right, is that anytime, like let's say you have the push here, if you know you can crash the wave, you can just decide to take a reset here. Let's say. Right? If you feel confident that you can take a reset here without, like, you know, when taking a trade, then the trade is always good, right? Because this guy is lost, you know, HP for some reason then. Right? He traded when you lost nothing. Right? Yeah. The only thing is that, okay, you might be scared that they get, like, a wave in or something like that. I mean, what I would do here is that Aphelios resets and you stay on the map, right? And then, like, when they hard shove, you look to tank the wave.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's gonna delay them a lot. The Aphelios can catch a wave and you get some tempo.
Yep.
Right, and Aphelios decides to stay, and if this is the case, that can be fine. Like, he has good guns, right, to stay in a sense, right? So it's like not terrible. Here, like, this is what we talked about, right? Like, just make up your mind, right, what you want to do. I don't care. If you think it's a good play to, like, do something on the tower, go for it. You know, if we don't, then that's fine as well. This Aphelios is level 6, hence why he probably wants to abuse the fact that he's level 6, right? The truth is, like, and especially in comp, right, like, if you want to abuse the fact that he's level 6 right now, you don't fucking hard shove this wave. Unless Carthus is down here, right? Then you dive him. Or the enemy bot him, right? Instantly. But it's like, now you just freeze, right? And you stand in this third bush, right here. And you channel Hex Flash. And if they step up, they die. And if they don't, then you just zone them out of wave. Completely free, right?
Yep.
And you can't, as I said, control what the fuck this guy is doing. But this guy, can we agree now, has already griefed by pushing this wave. I did not select Epic Pan, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, so it's like, why should we then trust what the fuck this guy is calling?
Yeah.
As I said, if it's comp, it's another thing in solo queue now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then we like take this play, and I mean the game is starting to look rougher for every second that goes, right? The question we always have to ask ourselves, first of all, is what is our win condition, right? This is the question number 1, right? What do we think this game?
Ideally, it would have been Pantheon, because if Pantheon snowballs, he could transition that into other lanes. If he just gets, you know, it's kind of the fed approach where if he just gets fed enough, he can go anywhere. He can dive bot, he can dive mid.
Right, it's a static champion, and the enemy is playing static champions. He's just gonna fist everyone if he gets fed, right? But he's not getting fed, right? So what is the next one, right?
It's like a mixture of both. Both Katarina and Aphelios are win cons. The only thing is, Aphelios is more of a... I think Aphelios is the easier win con simply because he has level, like at least at this point in the game, he has levels and CS advantage.
Yeah.
After that, I'd say Katarina. It's just Katarina is more volatile as well, so she's an easier snowball.
Right, I don't care who we play for. Like, the Pantheon can snowball, the Katarina can snowball, the Aphelios, if he gets to late game, is going to be strong. We have a Carthus as well, and he's not even a win condition, you know what I mean? Like, at least from what we were discussing, right? I'm not saying he's not a win condition. I'm just saying you can play for anything you want. I don't care what it is, right? Probably just whoever's is strong in the game, right? Agreed? Whoever's strong in the game can be a win condition, right? It's just like, if you look at, like, the game state, I don't know, when we press tab right here, we can just decide, right? Okay, just every time we walk out of base, I want you to ask yourself first, or like just look around the map, you know what I mean? Press tab. Okay, check what's going on in the lanes. Maybe you need to help out the lane like immediately for some reason, right? And it might like be that you should be bot lane, right, normally, but your mid lane is like in dire need of help or something like that, especially in comp lane, then maybe you just ignore the bot lane, right? But, just check tab, just check around the map, right? What's going on? What is my win condition, right? And based on this win condition, I want you to make plans, right?
Yeah.
Simple enough. Right? Because let's say we're going grubs here, right? This Pantheon is griefing his ass off, agreed?
Yeah.
Like, this guy is fucking running it. Shit happens, right? But the truth is, can we play grubs when this guy's running it?
Sorry, when the ADC is running it, you mean, or when the Pantheon is running it?
No, when the Pantheon is running it.
Oh, yeah. No, we cannot, because they're all going to have a stronger top side.
Right, most likely not, at least, right? There are times maybe we can out-macro them, but in solo queue, let's be honest, this is not gonna happen, right? The Katarina is dead, the Pantheon is fucking useless, right? We're not playing these grubs, agreed?
Yeah.
So the short-term plan, even if the initial plan might have been to play grubs, should have changed now, right? We should play Drake, for example, or maybe we should just play CS on the Corvus, or whatever we want, right? I don't care. But the plan has changed based on our win conditions, agreed?
Yeah.
And it's something we always need to consider, right?
For sure.
And here it's like, I don't hate the roam theoretically, right? But it's like, once again, we're not looking at what's going on bot lane, and we're spending a lot of time like in top side, right? In general, we have to be aware. I'm not saying this play is like a bad play. This play can be a good play, right? Because the Karthus is a power farm champion, right? If Karthus gets a power farm, he's going to be very fed in the game, right? But if we do this kind of play, we're giving up tempo on the other side of the map. This is how tempo works, right? You go top lane, you make a play, you're gonna invest tempo top side, they get tempo bot side. This is how it works, right? And if they decide to, like, let's say, the Skarner now has tempo, right, and their bot lane has tempo, they could decide to just not do anything with this tempo, right, and just play slow, right, and they could just, like, take a reset of bot lane, then they could, like, reinvest this into top side, right? This is how tempo works, right? It goes around in a circle, right? Makes sense?
Yep.
The tempo sticks around. This does not go away. The tempo is just a, like, lead that you will eventually get, right? So, for example, right now, we had a bit of tempo, we invested into top side. This means they can invest it into bot side. If they decide to keep it, that's fine. If we had decided to keep our tempo on the top side here, let's just say in a fantasy world, right? Karthus had gone bot side, we had gone bot lane, right? Then we could have invested our tempo over here instead. And they would not have gotten tempo on bot side, right? They would maybe have gotten on top side, but since Skarner was already top lane, you see what I mean? We would just have been able to fuck their tempo. Make sense?
Yeah.
The tempo would not have gone away because we did not use it initially or like immediately. It would just have been saved for later. Make sense?
Yeah, because it would. Basically, in an ideal world, the scenario could have been we go bot, we push out the wave, Karthus rotates through mid, gets mid prio, and then rotates into bot side.
And something, I don't know if you watch any like high elo players or anything like this, or
no,
like, no, that's fine. So if you, or if someone in chat or whatever does look at, like, for example, let's say just any like high elo jungler right now, you will probably notice that, like, let's say they, instead of going for this play, if they keep the tempo right here and then the Skarner goes for a play top side, they will just invade, right? They don't really invest their tempo, they just play like with the tempo they have. They're gonna keep the tempo for the entire game, right? And in general, anytime enemy makes a play without having tempo, right, they will just lose. Make sense? This is how the game works, right? If they decide to, like, I don't know, whatever it might be. The simplest example is we shove bot side, right? I mean, we could look at the first game, right, when we were red side, right? We shove bot side, we go into invade. If enemy bot lane decides to go here when they don't have tempo because they need to be clearing, right? Like the bot lane wave, then they will just lose the bot lane wave to take the fight, right?
Yeah.
So anytime you have tempo, enemy cannot make plays. Anytime enemy cannot make plays, you're just going to be in a winning spot, most likely, right? Because you can decide every play that happens on the map, right? So tempo is the most important thing in the game.
Yeah.
It's generally like the conclusion from this. And it's like keeping the tempo and understanding when to invest it and how to invest it, right, is important. And it can be hard in solo queue, right, but especially in comp play, right, if you want to level that up, right? Understanding, okay, like keeping the tempo for Drakes, these kind of things, or like if enemy makes a play right now, because especially in Sol, you can agree, like the games are a bit fiesta, right? You know what I mean? Like I watched some of the games, right? It's not like super high quality, it's not like super bad, but it's like, you know, it's not like the greatest League of Legends ever.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, so with that being like taken in mind, that people will a lot of the time not understand tempo, and I promise you, some people do not understand what tempo even means. You know, like maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't, then please tell me now so I can explain it to you, because otherwise my conversation is useless, right?
No, the thing is, I'd like to know if I share the same definition of tempo. Because in my mind, the tempo definition is basically just at any point you're going to have strong positions based on the position of the map and the tempo. Let's say, for instance, the jungler has cleared the entire bot side, and he paths into top side. The enemy jungler is clearing the entire bot side. Top side is going to path into bot side. which means the tempo is going to be for them in bot lane, because obviously they're going to have the proper pathing. That is where his is. Whereas our jungler is going to have the tempo on the top side, and at some point he's just going to have to reset or prepare for Drake, which means it's basically just he's going to go back and forth between top lane, mid lane, or bot lane, depending on where the tempo is.
Right, tempo exists for everyone, right? For me, tempo is just a timer you have to do something that is not lane, or clear jungle if you're a jungler, right? Best example: you push out bot lane wave, enemy has to clear, you have time, tempo to do something. You can invade, you can roam, you can reset, right? These are all ways you can invest your tempo, right?
Yep.
And in general, enemy does not have tempo, right? Because they have to do something in lane. This is the idea, right? And similar thing in jungle, if you skip a camp, right? That is tempo, generally you get some tempo for it, but you're gonna lose resources, right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
So anytime you have tempo, you have time to do a play on the map. This is the idea.
It's basically tempo plays also in terms of taking the towers. They have tempo on the top tower, hence they can take the top tower, whereas we can try to counter the tempo through TPs, but that's also based on us having tempo to TP.
Yes, the general idea is, if we take it another step, we shove here, we reset, right? We take a sheet to recall, then we come back, right? And then it's like the enemy is going to have to take a reset at some point, and they can probably not get out of lane because we have an item advantage, so eventually we're going to capitalize by, for example, getting a CS lead or hitting tower, right?
Yeah.
Because we have the tempo, right, and we invest that tempo, right, in a sense, right, we're going to gain more tempo in the future. This idea. Right, but my point is just that, we have to understand when to invest it, and we don't want to give up this tempo to the enemy team. This is the most important thing. If we never give up the tempo to the enemy team, let's say we have winning lanes here for the sake of it, we have, a winning bot lane, right? If we never give up the tempo to the enemy team in bot lane, they will never do anything in bot lane, right? They have no play to do. The only thing they could do to regain this is by taking a skirmish and they win it, right? That's the only thing. Otherwise, they're gonna be stuck, right? So we can just keep this indefinitely, and then when we gain enough tempo by keeping this rotation kind of going, we're gonna be able to make a play without giving it up. Make sense?
Yep.
Right. And I want us to think about when we do this. So instead of just going top lane because we have tempo, for example, think about, okay, do I maybe want to take a reset? Do I maybe want to, stay bot lane just to make sure that Aphelios gets tempo, something like this, right?
Yeah.
Alright, and so something I said about this game, right, or last game, right, is that game I understood where you played a bit hesitant, you don't want to flip plays, etc. This game, I want you to flip plays, honestly. You said it at one point, I asked you, okay, what is the game plan now after we took a winning fight at some point, right, and we had something to play for, I think it was here in bot lane, right? I asked you, okay, what is the game plan, right? And for me, the game plan should just be to try to take as many good fights as possible, right? If nothing happens right now in the game, right, enemy will just win at some point, right? They can just stack objectives however long they want, right? And they can just keep going until they have the item spikes, and when they do have the item spikes, which will be before us, right, because they're ahead, they will win. Agreed?
Agree.
Right. If you're in enemy position here, right, you're not expecting us to play aggressive and to play for engages, right? Because realistically, we don't win fights. Agreed?
Agree.
So, if you want to take winning fights, you play aggressive. Because enemy will not expect it, right? So enemy Scholar will be sitting here clearing his fucking red buff, then he will look mid lane and his Jinx is dying, and he will tilt. GT connects. You see what I mean?
Is that one of those plays that's similar? Do you remember the play I did mid onto the Jinx? I think this is the one.
Right, exactly. Because here's where I ask you as well, and I'm sitting here thinking, right, I just want you to make a play. You know what I mean? And if you think enemies around here, that's fine. Don't go for a play, you know what I mean? And if you think okay, let's just say this is the fucking Pantheon instead of the Katarina standing here, don't go for a play. He's not your win condition, you know what I mean? But it's I want us to make plays around where we're strong, right? Because this Katarina is not much weaker than any individual member on their team in that sense, right? So, if we get a 2v2 with this Katarina, that's the best chance we got. It might be a bit of a flip, right? But we have to take some flips to come back into this game.
Yeah.
We don't win this game by nothing happening, right? And it's if you look at pro play or whatever, it doesn't matter, right? A lot of the time you will see Fnatic are the kings of this, right? Where they will just keep flipping plays, right?
Yeah.
Until something works. You either lose, and then you would have lost anyways, or you come back off a fight.
Yep.
And I'm not saying you have to flip every single chance you get. That's not what I'm saying, right? But what I am saying is that you try to look for opportunities where you can take fights, right?
Yeah.
And if you can make trades on the map, that is good for you. Imagine this. Okay, let's say you're one item, right? In your team, generally everyone's on one item spike. Obviously, this is not how League of Legends work, but let's just say it for simplicity matters, right? And enemy team is on 2 items. Who's winning?
Wait, sorry. Could you repeat that? If the enemy has 2 items, you have 1 item.
Yeah, who's
Which
winning?
one wins?
Yeah.
In a neutral state, they'll always win.
Right, they will most likely always win, right? And on 2 versus 3 items, who wins?
I mean, them again.
Right. Do you think they win harder when it's 1 versus 2 items or 2 versus 3 items?
They win harder when it should be when it's 2 versus. Let's see here. It should be 2 versus 3, I think.
Potentially, right? It depends on comms sometimes, right? Etc. Right? So it's not an easy question to answer, and we can keep going like this, right?
Yeah.
It's like, at one point, do you think this is not relevant anymore, right? These items.
6, yeah, basically 6 items when everything is completed.
Well, then everything is completely even, right? Then everything is like, okay, neither team has like a flat out advantage, right? If you look at it, like, especially the game is very dictated by like mid game, right, etc. These kind of things. When you're on 2 items, you're often very strong. Agreed? This means you can often beat a champion that's of 3 items if you play better than them, right? Or whatever, right? It's not impossible at least to beat them, right? And especially when you're 3 items, like you don't plan your build often for 4 items, you know what I mean? Like when the 4 items rolls around, you're like, what the fuck am I building now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, the longer the game goes, the more trades you make, the better it is for you often if you're behind. It doesn't always have to be like that. If you think enemies turbo outscaling, right, that's not the case. Often we don't want to make trades, we just want to try desperately take a play, but often we've lost in those cases anyways, right? But my point is just that if we can keep trading indefinitely, we'll eventually win. Or at least be in somewhat of an even spot.
Yeah. It's basically just looking for continuous plays, because if we manage to get one good play, it's fine. If we don't, it's, we're going to lose either way. So it's just, I get what you mean as well. Similarly with the later the game goes, it's easier to kill, but it's also easier to get killed, which means we get the ideal play there and should be good.
I mean, the most common play, like, and this is not as common in solo queue, right, with these trades, right? Let's say the enemy team here, you're playing comp, right? They might want to look for top tower or bot tower, whatever, right? Then, as they're, for example, looking for bot tower, let's just say, you would look for top tower. If you can trade these two, you get an objective bounty, and you'll, like, get some gold on the map, right? And you can choose who you want the gold on as well. If Aphelios you think is your main win condition right now in this game state, you can easily get that gold on Aphelios. Make sense?
Yep.
And these are ways you can make sure you can come back, right? Or at least have something. The main thing for a comeback to work is that you need damage. This is the number one thing. If you can get a lot of damage on someone, they can potentially 1v9, right?
Yeah.
So, getting a lot of gold, get a lot of damage, and then you can play. Right, and here I think you mentioned that, like, okay, you think Katarina is overstaying. Why do you think this is?
In top lane, because if Skarner is topside and TF has ultimate, it's just, she's going to get completely fucked. We also don't have any vision coverage in the top side, and we saw them push top tower earlier, which means there's a very high likelihood they're still in top side.
Right, okay. So, here's my question. How do you think you should play this game macro-wise right now?
At this point, one of two ways. Either we look for a pick in the side, or we look for a basically them fucking up and engage onto us. Or it's basically looking for their mistakes in a fight where they push 3 man onto 1 tower, or we just look for a pick in the side.
So let's just say, for the sake of it, right, we 1-3-1. Let's just say we will not get pushed in any side lane. Agreed. Even if the Katarina is like decently strong, she will not get pushed by herself. We will not get pushed in mid lane either. Agreed.
Agree.
So, enemy will use push. They will have full tempo, right? Because push goes into tempo, right? So they will have full tempo on the map. They can play any objective you want. We have no pressure on the map. Eventually, they can just ward every flank. We have no win condition. GT connects. Agreed?
Yeah.
So, how do we get pressure on the map, right? Because we have to have a lane to play through. How do we get that?
Kill one of them, then gate the 1-3-1 pressure.
That could be one thing, right? We could kill someone, right? Like, that's the simplest thing if we manage to do that, right? So, for example, let's just say we think someone's going to overextend on top lane. You, as the support here, if you want to, you could just go top lane, and if they decide to load on the Katarina, then you would be there, for example, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to ping your Karthus as well, but Karthus has ult and Pantheon has ult, so maybe it's not super needed, right? You have a lot of tools this game to do global plays, right?
Yeah.
So, the general idea is that we look to overload somewhere, right? We might have to give up a bit on mid lane, right? You're not being there, for example, right? To make sure that we get the push here. If we get the push here now, then Katarina can now go into mid lane, right? While someone has to answer. Agreed?
Yeah.
So, we make sure that we overload one lane. I don't care which lane this is. It could be side lane. It could be mid lane. It doesn't matter. But if we do that, we can unlock one lane, we can have some tempo on that guy, we invest that tempo into another lane. Often, if we push top lane, we would invest it into one of the other 2 lanes, right? It's just the idea, right? So if we think we can maybe look for something on the other side lane, we can do that. If we want to look for a fight on mid lane now, we can do that. Agreed?
Yeah.
This is how you play, right? And if you had done this in mid lane, for example, then Katarina would not have opened side lane. She would maybe have gone mid lane. You look for a fight, enemy respects the fight, you get pushed in mid lane, maybe you get some vision towards the side lane, Katarina can push side lane. Make sense?
Yeah, because they're always going to have to commit someone to top lane, which means we're free to make a play on the other side.
Right, you split up your forces basically, right? And it's like if 3 people are mid lane in an enemy team, you don't just smash 3 people mid lane, right? And like you try to make a smart play, right? By, okay, overloading on one side, right? And giving up something on the other side, because otherwise you have to give up everything. Make sense?
Makes sense.
And this way you can unlock someone, and by using that unlock, then maybe enemy will grief at some point. And I promise you, this happens pretty much always, like, or in every league, right? If, for example, in NSC last split, we had like a very rough game versus Lions Speed after the early game, right? But then Butchie was quite ahead on the side lane, so he used his side lane pressure to move into mid lane. Enemy did not respect this, and then we managed to come back into the game, right? And this is like the best of the, like, quite a good team, right? These are people who play against Faker, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, because I also feel like when watching some of the pro plays, it also feels similarly that it's not like when you watch some of the Korean games, it's basically impossible to come back. But when you watch some of the LEC games, it still feels very comebackable.
Right. And here, I mean, I don't mind how we like play it. Like, I think it's like, you know, here's like, oh, whoops, I accidentally pressed the wrong button. GG. No, but like the Q into W is fine here. I would probably wait with ult a bit, you know. Like, I don't think there's a rush. If we feel like we're in super like hard danger, then that's another thing. But like you call out here, okay, we get the Skarner ult, that's good. We don't need to force a fight. For all I care, your ult is more important than Skarner ult. You see what I mean? If he uses it on you, like, you know, that's fine. Like, if you need to use it to survive, that's another thing, right? Then use it. If you think you would die there, I don't mind it, right? And here we play it good, right? Like, here is a point where we want to play into enemy team, right? So, it's good, right? And then we have to be careful about overchasing. That's the other thing, right? Play mid lane, and we have some ways to play through here. And as I said, this I don't hate. Maybe it's a similar thing to before, if you remember, when I said like, okay, all you need to do is stand on top of your Aphelios, right? Like, in a sense, right? Because if this Riven wants to do anything, right, and you're standing on top of the Aphelios, you can always Q it. Here, he flashes over your Q. You see what I mean? Like, he still kind of hits, like, or like he gets hit, right? But you know, like, it's not really doing the job. Of course, TF is on side lane here, our side here anyways, you would have lost. This is the truth, right? But this is my point. Like, it's like, if Riven does it really good, he flashes over your Q, then you have nothing to stop it, right? But if you're on top of the Aphelios, there's no play. Right? And sometimes you should not, right? Sometimes if you're like, I don't know, like, if it's a different champion that has an AoE threat, Syndra, something like that, obviously you don't do it, you see what I mean? But especially versus melee champions that want to jump on your ADC, the best way to peel your ADC, or any champion for that matter, is to click towards them. You don't want to sound right on top of them, but close to that.
Yeah. And
after this, I think the game looks a bit doomed. I think we can agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically because it felt quite rough when I felt like we had a chance to get get the tower and maybe look for another play once we get the spell rotation back up again.
Yeah.
But then we just go into their jungle, and then it just it feels fucking doomed at that point.
And it's similar thing to before. We have no pressure in any of the lanes, so I want you just to force something. You know what I mean? Like, just if Katarina is overloading onto mid lane, then okay, look for something in mid lane. If not, then just for all I care, fucking run to the side lane. Because you're not doing anything here, right? You're just staring at enemy and hoping they, for some reason, not kill a tower. Like, they might grief, right? They might grief, but I don't want us to assume they're gonna grief. I'd rather just pressure them, right? Just go into top lane. People make mistakes when they get pressured, right? You standing here does not pressure them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after this, it just looks a bit doomed. So, anything else you want to say about this game, or no?
No, I think this game was very much, like you said, I think the one thing I'm thinking in that case, because I get what you mean in terms of tempo. The one thing I'm thinking is like, okay, what should I have done specifically in this game? Should I have just stuck around Aphelios? Should I, were the roams... Obviously, I get that some of the roams were not valid, specifically the one into the top tower. Like, the first one, I think, was fine. The second one, I think, was terrible. Partly because I hadn't gotten 6 yet, so I think the play really should have just been to get some XP. But is the angle...
So, here's the thing, right? Yeah, go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that, because one of the things I think about the most is sometimes I feel like I don't know... in certain games, I do bot pressure really well, in that I know when to base, I know when to look for bot. But other games, I feel like I don't have quite the fundamentals down. And I'm just thinking in terms of what I should be looking for, partly in, obviously I get the tempo aspect of just like, oh yeah, obviously if they have the jungler bot side clearing bot lane and I roam top while their bot lane is pushing, it's just going to end up being, a free dive. Nothing major about that.
So, yeah, I get it. Like, let me ask you this question once. Okay, like, your Aphelios is very strong in this game, right? At a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like 2 levels up on the Jinx, etc., right? He's just like completely screwing everyone up, right? Like, I think it's even after here or whatever. But like, for a large part, like, you can even see here in this screenshot, right? He's stronger than a Jinx, right? He has a BF sword, he's gonna have more push, right? He's higher level, etc., etc. Agreed? So,
Agree.
Once again, ask yourself the question: if nothing happens, who wins in a lane? Like, if you're not trading, who wins?
Aphelios should be winning.
Why?
Because he has the extra item advantage, and he's just going to be if he ends up having the same amount of CS, no difference in CS, and just regular trades, he's always going to have an advantage. He's always going to trade net positive if he decides to go for anything.
Right, and he's always going to have the push, right? Because he's stronger, he has the push, and because he has the push, you can get tempo, right? Agreed. This is the entire point. If you have tempo from the push, you play with that, right? You don't just randomly give it up, right? When you went top lane, for example, earlier, I don't think it was, but later, right? Then you gave it up, right? Because then you're no longer gaining tempo through this push, right? And then Braum can regain this tempo, and Braum can actually be a champion. I'm not saying you should always go bot lane before you make a play. That's not what I'm saying, right? But what I am saying is that you want to play with this. This is your main point in the game. You're not going to get random tempo in lane, agreed, right? You're playing Katarina versus TF, and this Katarina's weak, right? And this TF is strong for that matter. You're not going to get it through top lane, right? So you have to get it through somewhere. You get it through bot lane, you get the push, you have roam potential, right? You can be unlocked on the map, and this Braum cannot be. If he is, he's gonna be the one losing XP, right? And if he is, then Aphelios should just win the 1v1. So we get the push through bot lane, we play into mid lane, right? And we pressure this way. And then when we feel like, okay, we need to regain the tempo bot lane to make sure this Braum does not get unlocked because we stayed too far on the map, right? Then we just do that, right? And then we go back and we do the same thing. Makes sense? And then we get vision, for example, in enemy jungle. And when we get the vision, the Braum can just walk in here for free. Like, you know what I mean? These kind of things. And then we can take a reset at some point. He has to take a reset and he's late on it. And we can keep snowballing this tempo. Makes sense? But everything starts through bot lane. That's the main goal, right? Everything's... Or it doesn't have to, but in this game, it's where we have prio. And generally it starts where we have prio. Makes sense?
Yeah, it's because of the state of the game, because Pantheon is out of it, and because, like you said, Katarina's weak. It's always going to be played through bot because it's the only strong side we have left.
Right, and it's like, if you're playing a comp game, you're not getting prio bot lane. Let's say we're getting it like in top lane instead. The general idea is top lane pushes, top lane moves mid. Mid lane gets prio from this, right, because you have pressure. And mid lane can do whatever he wants, right? He can go bot lane, for example. You get pressure, and then you can snowball the entire map from this.
Yeah.
And when you open into top side, for example, after a reset, that just gives it up, right? And then you're making a trade, right? You're trading this top side for this bot side. And this is your strong point. You're trading away your strong point. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's a bad play. It's not a bad play because you're losing more than enemies. Like, you're still making a good trade, right, for the Scarfus. Scarfus gets some CS, right? Aphelios gives up a bit, but it's a bad play because you were playing away from our strong point. Makes sense?
Yeah.
And our win condition.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else?
No, I think that's mainly it. Yeah, thanks a ton.
Right, awesome. I hope it helps. And yeah, I'll upload this to YouTube next week sometime. I'll send you when it is uploaded, and if you want to look through it beforehand, it's on Twitch Rods. So
yeah, it's all good.
All right.
Thanks a ton.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, and I'll see you.
Yeah, see you, man. Bye bye.